Good evening. It's 7:00 p.m. and today is Wednesday, March 6, 2024. This is a hearing for the Speedway Board of Zoning Appeals. My name is Tim Ramian. I'm chairman of the BZA. In attendance this evening are Steve Jones, secretary, to my far left, and next to him is our vice chairman, Curtis Miller, and to my right is Robert Hodge. Not here tonight is our newer member, Hayden Flynn. Also in attendance is Eder Lopez, our recording secretary, and John Merritt, our building commissioner, who will be filling in for Mitch Rector from Attica. Eder, all who wish to speak have been sworn in. Okay, thank you. I ask everyone to silence your cell phones, and please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item on our agenda is the election of officers for 2024. Does a board member have a slate of officers to present?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to introduce the slate of officers for the board. I would like to introduce Tim Ramian for chairman, Curtis Miller for vice chairman, and Steve Jones for secretary.
Could I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, are you Hayden?
Yes.
Oh, welcome. Okay. Yes. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Glad you're here. Okay. Okay, so Hayden, we were just going through the election of officers for 2024, and Robert made a motion to have me as chairman, Curtis as vice chairman, and Steve Jones as secretary. So we had a motion and the second, and now we're ready to vote on that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries 5-0. Okay. And Hayden, welcome to our board. Okay. I'd like to go over the rules for this evening. The presenter, any remonstrators, and any proponents will have each 15 minutes to present their evidence. Following their presentation, we will hear a staff report from our representative, who this evening will be our building commissioner. After the staff report, we will allow up to 5 minutes of rebuttal from each petitioner, any remonstrators, and any proponents. So before we do that, then we also have the approval of meeting minutes from our February 7th, 2024 hearing. Did anyone have any corrections to that meeting minutes? Okay, if not, all in favor of approving them, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Okay. Now we will hear petition 2023 DVS 005 for 1956 Girard Avenue. Will the petitioner or representative please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record?
Hi, gentlemen. Brian Gatewood, 1956 Girard Avenue. I've seen some of you before. Thank you again for the opportunity. Can I distribute some information like I did before, or is that okay?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. I know I understand what happened before. I perfectly accept it. Well, not an issue with me. I know it was just a situation. So I just want to explain the background for the couple people who haven't heard my spiel before, if you would. My wife and I bought this home a couple years ago. We've been remodeling it over the last couple of years, and we inadvertently put up a fence without a full understanding of the, I guess would be rules related to fencing.
The height
Speedway.
requirements,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I had a verbal conversation and was told there was no need for a permit in Speedway for a fence. Didn't get quite into the details of the 8-foot part of it. That conversation happened between Robert and I about some steps, which I did apply for a permit for the steps, not for the fence, but in the meantime, there was a period of about 10 days where we went ahead and erected the fence. So it is up. I didn't mean to do it on purpose, trying to resolve that. That's why I'm here. So I kind of explained that initial construction part in kind of more detail there and what I'm proposing. The main reason that for the 8-foot fence that, in my perspective, is in our backyard, we're directly adjacent to commercial properties, which I've enclosed some pictures of what happens on them on a daily basis, and I realize that their businesses are in place. I don't have a problem with them whatsoever. I just would like a nicer view from my backyard and not have to see all the trucks and automotive repair on a pretty consistent basis. So that's the justification and the reason, strictly from an aesthetic point of view. There's one picture that shows the inside of the fence. I think it's the 4th picture back. You can kind of see that it, at that height, does actually block the commercial buildings, which are a little taller than most residential buildings, and creates a better view for us to, put a fire pit back there and hang out on our patio. And I feel like it improves the aesthetics. The neighbors have all said great things. I've had several people in the town who've approached me and said they like what we're doing. I realize it's not up to code, so my apologies, and that's why we're here for a variance. And the other thing I just wanted to point out is there are people have been given other opportunities to build fences that were 8 feet within a few blocks of my residence. So I don't know what that variance process looked like or how they got there, but they did. So that's my that's my spiel.
Okay, does anyone, any questions for the petitioner, Mr. Gatewood? I believe I asked you this last month. You have not had any neighbors approach you to say they were opposed to it or they didn't like it, or?
None.
Okay. I believe that was your answer last month. I just wondered if you had any new comments from anybody.
Nobody has approached me in a negative way. I've had people approach me in a positive way.
Okay. And your picture that you did provide us, that's next to the last photo, that illustrates that it covers this picture, that it obstructs, even though most people are not much over 6 foot. Well, I'm way under 6 feet, but so someone is not going to see much of the commercial area along Crawfordsville Road from now that this fence is up, correct?
Correct, yes. And the
That was your
fence is
intent.
only around the patio area, as it shows
Right.
right there. It's not around the whole backyard. It's only roughly 24 by 20 ballpark. So it's just a small area around the concrete patio in the back of the home.
Okay.
I guess I do have one question. Does the fence have a gate?
Yes,
Okay.
you can, that's it right there. You can see it. If you look hard, it's a barn door style gate.
Oh,
Okay.
So it slides.
Okay. And I guess I asked that because, for safety reasons or for whatever reason, you had to get out from the back way.
No, absolutely. I tried to build it aesthetically so that it blends in,
question.
but it's a barn door style, and you can kind of see the hinges if you look at it. So-
Right, I see
and the
the,
rail across the
Yeah,
track.
I see the track. Okay.
So I believe at the last meeting, you did say that, or it was mentioned how those businesses had been there for quite a while, well before you'd bought the place. In this information you submitted, you do agree that those properties are in a C3 district, but you contend that they are being operated as if they were a C5 district
By appearances,
by appearance of what's happening there. And if that was the case, then the maximum height allowed in a C5 would be 10 feet. Okay. Thank you.
that's the way I read the zoning. I'm not an expert at it, but that's the way I read it, so.
Okay. Any other questions at this time? Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Gatewood.
Okay.
Okay. Now we'll hear from our building commissioner. Please state your name and,
John Merritt, Town of Speedway. I'm the building commissioner. I'm here tonight to present on a report that was done for the staff report for the Town of Speedway, and it is done by a group called the Attic Group, and they've done that on this petition here. The variance request obviously was a variance of maximum height of 6 feet, an increase in that. And it is not the entire, obviously, fence of the whole yard. It's just a small area around the porch. To grant this variance would provide additional privacy to the commercial properties adjacent to the properties at 1956 Girard. The standards and ordinance, the property in question is a D5 district, and it's close to a C3 commercial district. Those businesses are existing non-conforming uses because obviously I think that some of the businesses were there operating even before there was zoning, okay?
right, right.
So the maximum height is 6 foot in the table, 744, 510.2, an 8-foot fence does not conform to that in the actual dwelling district nor the C3. But it would obviously in a C5 as they're operating. During the site visit, the person preparing the report observed the fence in question had already been constructed prior to the approval. For whatever reason that it was done, the gentleman on the property has followed all the rest of the procedures and permits for the Town of Speedway, and a few spots measured between 8 and 8.3 inches, okay? The actual reviewer in his recommendation did recommend to deny it just because of the actual legal terms between the districts and the heights and all that. So any other questions, I'd be happy to answer. And once again, we have received no complaints on this either.
Okay. I have one question. To my recollection, while I was working for the BZA and as a BZA commissioner, I don't recall that we've had a petition for an 8-foot fence, but in your experience as a building commissioner, I know there are a few in Speedway.
There are.
Do you recall did they go through approval process?
Here's what's funny about the fences, and it's kind of a funny situation, that if you look at a property, you might actually see a 10-foot fence from the outside of that property, but then you go on the inside of the property and they have a hot tub or a pool or something like that with a raised deck, and the fence itself is actually only 6 feet at that point. And the ordinance does allow for that, but somebody driving down the street is going to see a 10-foot fence
Okay.
and not understand that that is one of the what I'll call exceptions or whatever the case is, to where you do have some heights, and the ordinance does allow the height of a fence to taper with the property as well. Now, generally, it doesn't allow it to get up to 8 foot, but you do have some getting close to that.
Okay.
Okay. So, but we have asked other people, and it's generally the entire fence. This is more of a patio enclosure fence versus a property fence, because if you put an 8-foot fence up right next to your neighbor's property, that kind of has more blocking of issues than would actually a patio area, smaller, that would cause an additional situation. So we have had people actually offer them to either go through the BZA or, go ahead and lower them. And most of the time they lower them.
Okay.
So, but we do have probably, I'll probably speak conservative, maybe 6 to 8 throughout the town that do have different reasons why you see something that does not look like it meets the standards when it does.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Merritt? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
see. Mr., let's see, Gatewood, do you have any rebuttal on this or anything else to state?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. And we do not have any other people here in the audience as a proponent or to make talk against it. So I guess, do any of the other members have any final questions before we go further?
No.
Okay. All right, then I'll ask for a motion to vote on this.
I'll make a motion to vote on this petition.
Okay, and could I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, then we'll, Mr. Secretary, please pass out the ballots. Hayden, I know this is your first time, you'll just make a vote and then sign it, and we'll pass it back to the secretary to read. Do you need a pen? I do. Okay, here you go. No, that's okay. We have spare pens, but not for you. Not tonight. I need to vote now, so thank you. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Let's see, petition number 2023 DVS 005. 4 and 1 against.
So the motion was 4 in favor and 1 against.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Gatewood, that petition has been approved then, that variance has been approved.
Great.
Okay, thank you for coming back tonight, we appreciate it. Our secretary informed me we have one other piece of business. Eder, I hate to put you on the spot, would you mind going to the podium and just doing a quick explanation for our newer members of what this is? Hayden, it's this piece of paper that...
So what is being presented is just the findings of fact for the petition that was denied at the last meeting regarding the monument sign for Financial Bank. So our town attorney put this together, and it's just explaining why it was denied and the special exception request that is being denied.
Okay,
that's
thank
all it
you.
is.
Yeah, basically, when we've done a denial in the past, we've not had a finding of fact that we send back to the petitioner then. And basically, this states why we're denying it and gives further explanation on that. So the only, and you were not here to hear this, but on the back of the document, we are making a hand correction. It states 38th Street in that middle paragraph, and we're going to make a hand correction. It'll say High School Road. So this is the first financial bank that was along High School Road. Okay? Okay, thank you, Eder. Oh, do you have any questions for Eder?
And on the back page, the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
Also, I guess I do have a question. So we brought back the other petition because we didn't have a forum,
Correct.
but we're not requiring to have a forum for First Financial Bank and denying that.
No, because that one was a unanimous vote.
Okay.
Because it was unanimous, right?
Since the vote for the first petition was split,
Okay.
that's why we had to.
Understood.
Correct.
Thank you.
That's a good question, though. Thank you, Eder. Okay. And I would like now to entertain a motion to approve this finding of fact.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Wait a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. The motion passes 5-0. Okay. Is there any other business to come before the board?
I will speak on that last one real quick.
Okay.
Just to let you know, I did say at that point that I would get with the complex,
Right.
and they are in the process of cleaning that entire area up front to make it more visible. They're going back 30 feet.
The apartment complex?
They are.
Okay.
Yes. Curtis just there was a line of brush and trees or whatever that they stated was blocking the building, and we just want to make sure that if that would do anything to get them better access or whatever, we went ahead and took care of that for them.
Well, thank you very much for doing that.
Okay, not a problem. I just want to make sure we had discussed it before, and I did follow through.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you much.
Okay, hearing no other business, we will adjourn the meeting at 7:20, and our next meeting is May 1st. Thank you.
All right.